Welcome to this brief video that helps to uncover how to work with the cusps to get to the heart of the new kindergarten to grade 6 social studies curriculum. The architecture of the new curriculum is the same as the previously released curricula. In all the new curricula, the key to addressing the learning outcome is to work closely with the cusps, paying special attention to the understanding. This resource reviews how the cusps work together to support the learning outcome in the social studies curriculum. As a quick review, the organizing idea is a statement of the learning within a given section of a subject area or discipline. The organizing ideas are intended to be logical categories that communicate the goals of education within each section of a subject area. The three organizing ideas in the new kindergarten to grade 6 curriculum are time and place, systems, and citizenship. In this grade 5 example, we will use the organizing idea called systems. Guiding questions are informed by the organizing idea and frame the learning outcome. The learning outcomes describe what students are required to know, understand, and be able to do by the end of a grade. Student achievement of the learning outcome must be assessed and reported. The number of learning outcomes for each of the organizing ideas range from 1 to 2. In order to meet the learning outcome, teachers work closely with the knowledge, understanding, and skills and procedures. Let's begin with the knowledge column. Knowledge is what students need to know. Each subject area has a body of knowledge that includes the facts, symbols, rules, principles, and concepts that constitute the subject area. In social studies, the knowledge column contains many facts, but also contains key concepts that are important for the students to understand. Individual concepts are different than facts. Facts are the specific, detailed pieces of verifiable information. For example, European fur traders are immigrants who came to Alberta in the 1700s is a fact. Concepts, on the other hand, are the big ideas that help organize and give meaning to those facts. In this example, immigration is the concept. Facts serve as examples of broader concepts. The fact that European fur traders who came to and remained in Alberta were immigrants is an example of the concept of immigration. There are other examples of immigration, including the arrival of Black immigrants to Amber Valley, and the arrival of Eastern Europeans such as Ukrainians and Poles. In this grade 5 example, three key individual concepts that emerge from the knowledge column are technological advancement, interaction, and economic transformation. Students can learn what these individual concepts are and give examples of them. However, this social studies curriculum is more than isolated facts and concepts. There are larger, more significant ideas that students are required to learn. Those larger ideas are the understandings in the curriculum. When the concepts are combined or related in a single statement, the meaning that is created is more than just the meaning of the individual concepts. What is one way that technological advancement, interaction, and economic transformation are related? One statement that relates the concepts is this: economic advancement leads to more interactions, which then spark technological advancements. In this case, we can support the statement with a factual example. An example is when, in the 2020s, governments invested money into British Columbia, economic advancement, to support technology growth. With the investment, groups like tech companies, universities, hospitals, and government agencies began working together, interaction. That resulted in the creation and improvement of new computer tools that use AI and other smart ideas like trying out self-driving pods at Vancouver Airport, or AI, to help doctors detect diseases. In this new example, we might relate these concepts in a different way and recognize that technological advancements and interactions result in economic transformations. The same concepts continue to be related in a logical and meaningful order, but despite using the same concepts, a totally different understanding is created. We can find factual examples of that understanding as well. For instance, in Canada, farmers are using technological advancements like GPS, drones, and computers that analyze the data they collect. That data helps to monitor crops and livestock more closely. Interactions such as trade shows occur. These are where farmers, researchers, and tech companies come together to learn from each other and explore new tools, and therefore promote and spread these advancements. As more farms adopt the latest technologies, the result is an economic transformation. Increased efficiency and production leads to stronger exports and rural economic growth. To summarize, the knowledge column contains facts and individual concepts. Those concepts become the building blocks for the understanding. As stated in the guiding framework that guides the building of these new curricula, understanding is about putting pieces of knowledge into logical and meaningful order with other knowledge. In this example, when we put the concepts from the knowledge into a logical and meaningful order, we get this understanding. Technological advancements and interactions resulted in social, political, economic, and environmental transformations of civilizations and empires. You will notice that while this understanding includes social, political, and environmental transformations, the knowledge column and our examples addresses only the economic transformation portion. It is important to remember that an understanding is more than a fact. An understanding is a generalization that can be applied to many examples. As stated in the guiding framework, by understanding, one can apply what they have learned to new situations in other contexts. The more context with which the students explore and apply the understanding, the deeper their learning and the more proficient they become with applying that understanding to different contexts across a range of time, places, and cultures. In this Grade 5 example, the historical context in the knowledge column is ancient civilizations and how technological advances in agriculture and increased trade or interactions resulted in economic transformations such as urbanization and storing money in banks. Before examining that part of the knowledge, teachers may first want to provide more current and nearby examples to introduce the understanding. For example, a technological advancement in Alberta is the use of hydroponics, LED light systems, and climate-controlled environments to grow leafy greens year-round indoors. These systems require less land and water than traditional farming and can be placed in urban settings. Local entrepreneurs interact with grocery stores, restaurants, and school nutrition programs to supply fresh produce. This technology and interaction creates short supply chains, local food jobs, and a resilient fresh produce market that's less dependent on long-distance imports. For example, local lettuce grown in Edmonton can reach store shelves within hours of harvest, allowing small businesses to capture a share of Alberta's fresh produce spending while keeping more money in the local economy. The previous example of how GPS is used in agriculture could also act as a context to explore and apply the understanding prior to examining the ancient civilization context. For teachers wondering where current events fit into the new curriculum, exploring the understanding using current-day examples could be a great spot. After students examine familiar context through the lens of the understanding, they can explore the more distant historical context of ancient civilizations. Let's change our focus to the skills and procedures column. Skills and procedures are what students do to demonstrate their knowledge and understanding. They are specific skills, methods, tools, strategies, and processes that students will develop as they achieve the learning outcome. If our focus is the understanding, what can students do to demonstrate that they understand that technological advancements and interactions resulted in social, political, economic, and environmental transformations of civilizations and empires? Perhaps they can relate something about the understanding, or maybe they explain something related to the understanding. What is it that they can relate or explain? In this Grade 5 example, students are asked to relate advancements in agriculture, which is the technological advancement, to the development of urban settlements, which is the economic and social transformation. They are also asked to explain the impacts of expanding trade and interaction in ancient civilizations. There are some important considerations when working with the skills and procedures. Consideration 1. Skills and procedure statements can be developed into a learner or instructional task that can provide formative feedback into what students know and understand as they complete the task, or can be used as a summative assessment, depending on how your unit of study is designed. Consideration 2. The skills and procedures statement align with either the knowledge or the understanding. In this Grade 5 example, the first skills and procedure statement align with the understanding, while the second aligns with the knowledge. A third consideration is to be certain that students are proficient in the skill before having students use that skill in a summative assessment. In this example, the specific skills are relate and explain. Before giving students that task, they need to know how to relate and what constitutes an effective explanation. To help determine a student's level of proficiency in a skill is to first isolate the specific skill, which is the doing part. Then determine what students know about relating and explaining. What is a relationship and an explanation? How does one relate and explain? Should students require instruction and practice with the individual skills, you may want to teach how to use the skill using content for which they are not responsible as practice items. When students are proficient in the skill, they can use that skill in a summative assessment with confidence to demonstrate what they know or understand. This concludes our discussion on the architecture and getting to the heart of the social studies curriculum by examining how the knowledge, understandings, and skills and procedures work together. Don't forget to explore other APLC resources that take deeper dives into working with concepts, understandings, skills, and procedures and how to plan for them, instruct them, and assess them.